And I was muted, but I'm no longer. Good afternoon. Welcome to National Administrative Professionals Day. This is day one. I was muted, but I'm no longer. Good afternoon. Welcome to National Administrative Professionals Day. This is day one. And I was double muted. All right. So, good afternoon and welcome to National Administrative Professionals Day. I am Danielle Key, the CEO and founder of Cubicle Connections, and I am hosting this National Administrative Professionals Week event. Today is day one, and so I'm going to give everyone some time to jump on, but we are going to go ahead and just really get started. I am super excited about today. But we are going to go ahead and just really. I'm super excited about today. And it's so important that we just participate and acknowledge the collaboration and the value that administrative professionals bring to the offices in our organizations. And so I'm going to take a moment to just share this video with a few different people. So give me a moment to do that. And I'm going to give you guys some time to jump on as well. Okay. Because I don't want to celebrate by myself. I want to celebrate with all of you as well. So give you just a second here. And I'm going to go ahead and send this off to a few people here. Hoping you all are having a wonderful afternoon. Wonderful afternoon. All right. So I went ahead and sent that off. Hoping you all are having a wonderful afternoon. So I want to go ahead and start off, and I'll be keeping an eye on the chat here so that I can see who's jumping on. But I want to go ahead and just give you some information about who I am, what Cubicle Connections is, and why it's so important to me to really celebrate Administrative Professionals Week. Number one, because you guys are rock stars. Okay. Now, if you're looking for a rock star, it's not just someone who plays the guitar, but it's literally an admin. And whether that be an administrative assistant, a virtual assistant, an executive assistant, a personal assistant, a chief of staff, that is who those rock stars are in the office. And they're the ones who keep the offices together. And so I just want to go ahead and share with you. Like I mentioned, my name is Danielle Key, and I'm the CEO and founder of Cubicle Connections. And Cubicle Connections is a community that is responsible and holds accountability to training and developing administrative assistants. And, there are some times where you can kind of, if you're interested in being an administrative assistant, this place is for you as well. But if you're interested in being an administrative assistant, you are an administrative assistant, you're an executive assistant, and you're looking to either move up or just be the best that you can be in your role because you have planned to just, retire as an administrative assistant or executive assistant because this is your career choice, which is wonderful. Either way, Cubicle Connections is here to provide support for you. So our goal really is to develop those career admins that have either chosen or fallen into this role and decided, you know what? This is what I want to do. I enjoy being behind the scenes. I enjoy really making things happen behind the scenes and supporting my executives. Hey, Nick. Okay, here we go. Start rolling in. The people are coming in. So I enjoy really being the administrative assistant and the support behind our executives. So when you have identified that and you say, I want to be the best that I can be as an administrative assistant, then you know what? You come to Cubicle Connections, right? Because then we will help you develop processes and grow and train in your role to continue to stay in your role, but to just be at the highest peak every year. You should grow. And so we're here for you for that. Now, if you have fallen into the administrative assistant role or executive assistant role and have decided, you know what, I have enjoyed my time here, but I'm looking to move forward and looking to do something else. Cubicle Connections is also here for you because In that sense, then what we're doing is we're teaching you how to prepare yourself in addition to, and I'm kind of jumping to day 3, but I'll talk to you about that in a minute. But prepare yourself to really develop everything that you need within the job that you're in right now. Prepare yourself for the next, and prepare your team to let you go. Okay. Because we all know that if you are a phenomenal administrative assistant or executive assistant, your company, your department is really going to have a void if we're not preparing them to really let us go, right? And so we want to make sure that we're doing that. So it's an all around thing here with Cubicle Connections. We really want to make sure that, again, we have administrative and executive assistants, and those that strive to be are trained up to get into the roles that they want to. And if they want to stay in those roles, we want to support you and train you and provide the development opportunities that you need. And if you've decided, you know what, I'm interested in going into management, or I'm interested in going into, consulting, or whatever else it may be, we want to also be able to provide that support to you. Now, so I tell you all of that, and you say, okay, well, then that's great, but Danielle Key, you still haven't told me anything about you. So who are you and why should I listen to you, right? All right, so let me give you a little background, and I'll tell you why I am extremely excited. And this really is my passion when it comes down to administrative assistance. So I actually fell into the role of an administrative assistant. My first role was really as a department secretary. And in that role, I was responsible for supporting, hospital leadership, and really providing the support to our hospital floors. I absolutely enjoyed it. Prior to that, I've had a few like front desk jobs and things like that, but I've always liked the clerical piece, the support, the operations, and organization and things like that. So when I got into that role, I just progressively over the years have been blessed to be able to just move from position to position and progressively promote. So my very last role in an administrative assistant role was as an executive assistant, and I absolutely love that role. Now, between department secretary and executive assistant, I have had the opportunity to be able to train hundreds of people, hundreds of staff, physicians, and in addition to having administrative assistants, a part of a group that I founded, which was called my admin peer group. So in the admin peer group, I was able to really develop and get to know other admins, and to be able to provide an opportunity for all of us to come and share best practices. Because how many of us know that as administrative assistants, generally you're in your own silo, right? Especially if you're supporting a certain department or a certain branch of your organization. You may be over here in this corner, and your colleague is over here in that corner. And maybe there's not an opportunity for you to come together. So the admin peer group was all about bringing other admins together so that we would be able to share best practices. Because how many know when you're struggling trying to figure out how to do, let's say, an Excel spreadsheet, and you need to have it in the next 20 minutes, and you're struggling because you don't know how to use it, you need someone to be able to lean on and say, how do I make a macro? Right? How do I make this pivot table? And you're able to do that when you have a group of admins that are all working together. And so the admin peer group was really all about bringing everyone together and being able to make sure that we're all skilled up together. And there's not like one superstar over here that knows how to do everything, but then the others are failing. No, let's all come together as a group, because we're all here to support our teams. So that was very, very, very successful. And what I decided was, you know what? It's not just so important for it to only be, for a few people, but this is something that literally is a burning desire within me, because what I found in the corporate world is administrative assistants, although we are the glue. Now, if you follow me at all, if you follow me on Facebook, if you follow me on Instagram, you will hear me say over and over again that the admin is the glue. Okay. So if you follow me at all, that's what you're going to hear. So as the glue, it seems that there is not a lot of opportunity to be developed and to be poured into, right? Generally, all of the development opportunities and things are management and above. So there's different offsites that they can go to, and there's different training environments that they can be in. But when it comes to the administrative assistant, it always seems like there's more of, you got to put in a business case, and mind you, managers have to put in business cases as well, for to justify training opportunities and things like that. But there's always these different, more opportunities for management and above, right? For example, National Administrative Professionals Week is covered sometimes with other celebrations for other roles. And so it for me, it's a burning point, in my heart to say, but if I am the glue, right? So if you are the glue as the administrative assistant, if you are the one who's keeping everyone organized, if you are the one who knows when someone needs to leave and when they need to go and where they need to be at every waking moment while they're at work, and even some of us while they're away from work because you're a personal assistant, then why not? Would there not be opportunities, more opportunities to be able to develop and to grow and to really expand and stretch in these roles, right? And so literally that is where Cubicle Connections comes from. Cubicle Connections, again, is all about developing and training and ensuring that those that are the glue in these organizations are getting everything that they need. So with all of that said, I've decided that I need to share everything that I know, right? And invite you into this community so that you can hear from people that I know of. And this week, this is what's going to happen. So today is the very first day. Tomorrow, we're going to have a special guest, Angela Holmes, who I am so, so very excited to join and just have a lunchtime chat with. Now that chat is going to be talking about self-care. So as we are celebrating you today, and we'll talk a little bit more about that, but I want to get into what's going to happen for the rest of the week. As we're celebrating you today, tomorrow we're going to talk about taking care of you, because this is all about you. So I want to make sure that when you come on, even if you drop onto the replay, make sure you share this with your friends and put it on your clock. There's a lunchtime chat that's happening tomorrow, and it's about taking care of you. As you are the one who's putting out all day, every day, your whole job is encompassed in taking care of others. How do you take care of you? And so we're going to talk about self-care and wellness. Angela Holmes is an absolutely amazing wellness coach, and she is an author as well. And so we are going to have the privilege of being able to sit down with her and just ask her a few questions, and then also deal with chats, look at your questions in the chat and be able to answer those as well live. So I'm really excited about that. And then Wednesday is actually Administrative Professionals Day. Okay, so now, mind you, you guys are going to get used to me because I haven't had any coffee, and this is how excited I am without coffee. So I will make sure that I just bring it down a little bit, and I don't have any coffee tomorrow, because otherwise, you're not going to be able to take it. All right. Okay, so Wednesday is actually Administrative Professionals Day. And on that day, we're going to have a 2-hour session. And that 2-hour session is going to include free giveaways. It's going to include, developing you is the title. Developing you in every aspect. How do we do that? How do we look at our role and say, this is what I want to do, and I don't want to go any further. I don't want to go into a different role. I want to stay here because I love it. I love my team, and I want to stay here. How do I just get better and better by the day? And then also, if I'm planning to go somewhere, how do I do that? And we have some other things up our sleeves. So you'll have to find out when you join. For that, you'll need to register, because I'm hoping to have a private Zoom. But you know what? If the awareness and the word gets out so far that it just can't be contained in a private Zoom, we're going to do a Facebook Live, and I'm just okay with that. All right, we will share it on a Facebook Live, because it's not private information. It's information that everyone needs to know if you're an administrative assistant or executive assistant. Okay, all right, so looking over to see who do we got here. We got, again, and let me just say, hey Nick. And it looks like, Nick, you might be the one to win a prize. um, so we're gonna go ahead and start talking about how do we celebrate you. So, there are times, and I've heard in the industry how sometimes people are like, I don't have calendar access, or they won't let me have access to their email, or there's some things that in the administrative role can really, if we're not careful, can really harm the value that you have for yourself, and the value of your perception of the work that you can do when you're in your role. Particularly, there was a situation in which someone mentioned, actually yesterday I believe it was, and I commented on their post where they just said, I'm trying to go into a different role, but I'm really concerned about my ability. I mean, I was comfortable and I was confident in my ability, but in this current role I haven't been confident, right? So how many people have ever felt that way before, where prior to jumping into one role, you were confident of your administrative ability, right? You know that you can, 100% support your executive. You 100% can keep everyone organized. You can even run projects. You can, if you're Johnny on the spot, when they ask you for something, you're there. And then you get into a role, and it may be a different level of management. It may be a different level of, you might fall under a micromanager. They're out there. You might fall under someone who's really respectful of your scope, right? And so they're not meaning that they're respectful for the things that they think that you should be doing and nothing else. And so they want to keep you there because they're concerned about overworking you. Or you may be with someone who's not concerned about overworking you and just working you, and you may feel like, I cannot take, it's not possible for me to handle all of this work, and you become overwhelmed, right? And at times those different kind of situations can kind of hit your confidence, can kind of if we're not careful, can hit your confidence, and also hit what you perceive as your value. Well, today, as we celebrate you, I want you to know that as an administrative and executive assistant, you again are the glue, and you're one of the most important people in the office. Whether that's a small startup, whether that's a humongous company with tens of thousands of employees, whether that's you're remote and in your home, and your whole team is remote and you're trying to handle things, you are the glue. You're the glue. And that's what's most important to understand. And you are valuable. Now, yes, everyone is indispensable, right? We can't walk around and just say, well, if they lose me, then they'll never get it together. Well, there are other people who are interested in having jobs too. So we don't want to walk around in an arrogance, and that's not what I'm telling you about today. But I want to encourage you as an administrative assistant, as an executive assistant, a personal assistant, a virtual assistant, whatever assistant that you may be in whatever level. I want to encourage you that if you've lost, confidence in the things that you're doing, or felt that you were, kind of pushed to the side and that your value wasn't as high, understand that you are the key to the success. No pun intended, last name, but you are the key to success in your organization. And when you feel that way, then you walk around a little differently, right? It's not an arrogance. It's confidence in the support that you provide. It's confidence in the understanding that you have that this is my role. It is your accountability that this is my job. This is my role. And I will make sure at all times my executives look good because that's my job. I remember supporting a particular executive, and this particular executive, excellent in his role, excellent. However, at times he would kind of go off, on different things or whatever. And so when we got into meetings, and I was trying to help him, like, come on, we have to get organized. Cause at the most time he was just like off the cuff. This is what I'm doing. And I would say, okay, but we have to have an agenda. Like, we have to have an agenda when we walk into a meeting. Okay. I mean, you just can't be off the cuff. I mean, you can, but let's really have it organized. And so we would sit down prior to the meetings. We would have, our agenda planning meeting. And then we'd go into the meeting. And of course, he would go off into something else. Well, as I'm going down the agenda, because I'm not here to police you, right? I am here to let you be free to be you, because I'm your help. I'm not, trying to do your job. But I also need to make sure that those points that we talked about and the agenda planning meeting are touched, right? And so as we were going along, he would hit this uh point and then go off to the left, and then hit this point and go off to the left. And so I am consciously checking off things, and I'm doing it on my agenda where no one else can see, because it's not anyone's else issue. I shouldn't show anyone else that he's not being, not staying on task. So I'm checking off things. Well, if he missed anything, I would write something down on a piece of paper, and that would be whatever it was that he missed, because I wanted to make sure that every point was, touched before we got out of the call. I mean, before we got out of the meeting. And of course, this was years ago when we were in person, right? Although we're trying to come back to in person. So, anyways, and so then I would just slightly push the paper towards him. Now, you say, okay, well, how did you do that? Well, I always sat next to him. Always. Always. I always made sure I was sitting next to him because of this point. If he missed anything, I didn't want to have to raise my hand and say, oh, hey, Mr. Executive, you forgot what we talked about before. No, it's not anyone else's business that he missed something. My job is here to make him look good. So as he is the leader, and we need to have strong leadership, right? Then I'm helping him to be that. And I'm sharing, this is what else you need to share. So I would push a little post-it note to the side to him, and he would glance down, and then he would say, oh yeah, so we want to talk about vacation. And let's say it was vacation. So then that's the idea, that's the one point that he hadn't pressed. But by me putting that on a piece of paper and sliding it to him, it was a soft, kind of friendly reminder, like, hey, you forgot about this. But no one else needed to know, because I understood my value. And I also understood that I'm here to make you look good. And I was confident in my role. And at times, I can't say that, because especially in that position, there was a lot of work that I had to do. And honestly, as I continue to streamline different things and change different processes, I realized this is not only for one person. And so eventually I was able to write a business case, and we're able to get more people. But I was also able to know that I'm confident in this role. I know my ability, and I'm learning new abilities, and I'm here to assist my executive and make him look good. And that's something that I have continued to carry along with me. Right. And so when I talk about the value of an administrative assistant, you got to know that you are valuable. Had we not, let's just look at that same situation. Had I not written it down on a piece of paper and pushed it over so that Mr. Executive could see that you had missed this point, he would miss it. Well, guess what? Then there's now the downfall to that, right? Now you've missed it. It was a very important point. Now we have to wait until the next meeting, or it happens to be an email where somebody sees it at this time, another person sees it at that time. Everyone didn't hear it at the same time. They're all, left to their own perception of what it is that you're saying. They're asking questions, maybe not of the executive, but of each other, and they're not getting the same understanding. So there's a lot of, extra work that's happening when it was simple. I just wrote it down on a piece of paper, passed it over to him indiscreetly so everyone else didn't see it. He glances down and says, oh, yeah, let's talk about vacation. Understanding your value. Please, in your role, do not let anyone make you feel like you're not valuable. There's another thing that I'll say in celebrating you and understanding your value is looking at, asking for feedback. It's always a rule of mine to ask for feedback throughout the year. For us that receive annual evaluations, it's important for me to understand how I'm doing throughout the year. And I'm also, not only am I keeping, my own idea, and I'm watching my own work, and I'm grading myself, as we would say, right? Where I'm saying, did you do this right? Did you do that right? Danielle, come on, you got to catch up on this, you got to do this. And I'm really preparing myself throughout the year, and to make sure that I'm doing the best that I can. But I also want to get feedback, because at times, we can be a little skewed. Be a little easy on ourselves. Oh, it's okay. I missed it, but I'm going to do better later, right? But you want to hear from your end users, who are your customers, and your customers are your executives. So you want to hear from them and say, hey, how am I doing throughout the year? And you want to hear that throughout the year, because what you don't want is at the end of the year, when you get your evaluation, you are surprised. You don't want that. You don't want that. You want to understand your value. You are here as the executive assistant. You are here as the administrative assistant to shine and to make sure that your executives shine. Everywhere they go, they shine. Why? Because you're supporting them. You're providing the support that needs to happen. When something happens, you know exactly who to go to. Even if you don't have the answer, you know who to go to because you're resourceful. And that's why it's so important. And I'll tell you too that Cubicle Connections is not just for, training and development of administrative assistants, but we also provide training for the executives that have administrative assistants. Because unfortunately, sometimes, you can be an executive, you have an administrative assistant, but you've never had one before. And so you don't know how to really support them, or what you can get out of them, or what they can do for you. You just don't know because you've never had that kind of support. And so it's important for that kind of, training and understanding to come along too, so that your administrative assistant is like, hey, I'm here and I can help you. And you're like, yes, you can. Come on over here and help me. So we're also doing that because it's an all around basis of understanding your value, and also for those around you to understand your value, right? It's really important, you all. It's really important to know that, again, you are the glue. You are the glue, and you are holding the organization together. So even when we talk about self-care on tomorrow, we'll talk about just being able to implement self-care in your day-to-day work and your day-to-day operations. You know why? Because you're taking care of everyone else. So how do you get a moment to yourself when, especially for us that may be sitting in open offices, and you have people just coming by left and right, left and right? When you're sitting in the open office, generally they just come by and ask you questions, right? And you might be in a meeting, you might be, so how do you deal with that? How do you deal with that so that you can still keep that smile on your face, still be pleasant, and still be able to take a moment when you need a moment, right? Because you're always on stage, right? Yes. So this is what we're talking about. This is what we are talking about. And what I want you to even look at is the evolution of administrative assistants. And I'm sure we have heard this because it's been happening for years. And knowing that the administrative role has continued to evolve, and the value of the administrative role has continued to increase. When you started out, maybe it was just, answering the phone and kind of being a receptionist, right? Answering the phone, showing hospitality to the people that come in to the office, making sure they have water, taking care of them, possibly handling the calendar. Administrative assistants and executive assistants now are responsible for project management. They're responsible for, calendar management, and not only of one executive, but of multiple executives. Um, that may wear different hats, right? So they may have different responsibilities, not just as the executive, but may have different committees and things that they're responsible for that you're also managing. And so, I mean, this is just the time to really take a moment, breathe, and then pat yourself on the back, because you are handling this. You are. You are handling it. Even if you get up every morning and you come to work, you are handling it. And what I would also say is that when you are coming to work, make sure that you're telling yourself, I'm going to rock it today. I don't care if you don't feel that way, you know, because as we're celebrating today, we want to celebrate every day. And you have a lot on your plate. And so what you want to say is, I'm going to rock it today. I mean, today what is today? Monday? I'm going to rock it today. If you have to take a moment to go take a walk on your lunch break and then come back and say, I'm going to rock it when I return on my lunch break. I don't care what happened this morning, but today I'm going to rebound it and I'm going to rock it, because you are the glue. You are the glue, and you are so very valuable. And the truth is, yeah, everyone is dispensable, but if you were to leave, then your company would have a void for a moment prior to the, before they replace the role or they backfill the role. They would definitely have a moment. I mean, how many people have left positions and they still called you? They called you to train your backfill, or they called you because even though you're in a different role, hi, I know you're in a different role. Just wondering if you can help us. We can't find X, Y, and Z on the share drive. We can't find X, Y, and Z on the SharePoint. Can you help us? Right? Because you're important, because you are the glue and you are valuable to your organizations. So let's see. What else is there for us to talk about? You know what? Our executive assistants and administrative assistants are no longer just assistants. We are now strategic partners. And you have heard that across the online, uh, you know, streams, and you have heard that on multiple different platforms. We're strategic partners. And so you got to pat yourself on the back for being a strategic partner, right? Because strategic partners are like that second brain, right? It's that second brain that can say, wait, let me think about this. Your executive can be in a high, stress moment and they're thinking about this and that and that. And you can step back and take a moment and say, what is it that we need to do? Let me just really think about this. Let's go from step A to step B. I think we need to do this, this, and that. And if you've built that strategic partnership with your executive, then you can go in and say, I know we're dealing with an issue right now, but let's think about it doing it this way. And I think if we're proactive in this piece, then we'll be able to handle, potential barriers that may come along the way. And do you understand how very important that is? Executives have things that are coming to them left and right, left and right, left and right. But to have someone who says, I'm jumping in the boat with you and I'm going to help you as we get through this. You're not going to be all alone. I'm not looking at you like you're the executive. You should understand how to handle this. You should handle it. I'm going to give it to you. Here's the ball. Run with it. No, I'm saying I'm in here with you. I'm going to push the boat with you. I'm going to bounce the ball with you. We're going to come together. That's value. That's value. So again, like I said, we're celebrating you. We're celebrating how great the executive assistant is, how great the administrative assistant is, and how wonderful and valuable that role is. So I wanted to give out some gifts. I did want to give out some gifts. And so I am going to give out a gift. And in the comments, I saw Nick Lasnicki. And so, Nick, I am going to give you a gift. And this gift is more of a girly gift. So, I know, Nick. So, you can give it to your wife. But let me show you this gift here. And let's see if we can get it up there. Let's see. With my background, you can't. Let's see. Nope. But that's okay. So I'm going to give you a nice gift box. And this gift box has it smells amazing. And when you get it, you will enjoy it. So get ready for that to come to you. And I will send that to you, Nick. Thank you so much for joining today. So again, for those that are jumping on, a little later, I'm Danielle Key, and I'm the CEO and founder of Cubicle Connections. And today is day one of National Administrative Professional Week, where we are celebrating the administrative profession. And this is hosted by Cubicle Connections. And Cubicle Connections is a community in which we just train and develop, and we focus on training and develop administrative and executive assistants. We are looking forward to connecting with all of you. And not only are we having this broadcast today, but just to share some information with you, tomorrow from 12 noon to 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we will be talking about taking care of you with our guest speaker, Angela Holmes, who is a wellness coach and author. I am super, super, super excited to have her jump on the call and to really share with us how to initiate and really, implement self-care while you are taking care of everyone else. How do you take care of you? How do you take time to Breathe. When everything's going crazy in the office and you are responsible for being the one that has everything together, right? And keep everything together. How do you do that? How do you take care of yourself? How do you take care of yourself when we have all of these external factors, right? And some are working from home, and then you have family dynamics and things like that. And, there's been 2 years of COVID now. We feel like we're coming out and it's great. But how do you deal with all of that and still be on stage, right? Because in the corporate world, we're told to stay on stage. How do you stay on stage and still have a smile on your face when you know that all these things are happening in the background, and be able to just handle things, in a smooth and productive manner? How do you do that? So we'll be talking about that tomorrow, Tuesday, April 26th, from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And again, that's going to be with our guest host, Angela Holmes, who is in a that's not a word, but I made it up, fantabulous wellness coach and author. So she will be sharing her gems with us on tomorrow. And then we're going to celebrate Administrative Professionals Day, and that is on Wednesday. So on Wednesday, from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Actually, this is going to be a 2-hour session. We are going to be talking about developing you, and I have a special guest that is going to be joining. I'm going to announce them tomorrow, but I have a special guest that will be joining us tomorrow, where we will talk all about developing you. And that is going to be a very nice session. So just wanted to give you guys an understanding, or to give you an update and let you know what's going to be happening for the next 2 days. And again, we are going to be giving out prizes. So Nick Lawson, Nikki, woohoo! I kind of need one of those, but that's good enough, right? So Nick Nikki is our winner today. Tomorrow we'll be doing sometimes that brain works but the mouth doesn't, right? Okay, so tomorrow we'll be doing freebies as well, and so be looking forward to giving you all some gifts just for joining, because it is Administrative Professionals Week. And so it's time to celebrate. And, and if you're having celebrations at your organization, that's great. If you can jump on the lunchtime call, please, lunchtime live, please do, because this will just be adding on to the celebration that you're having. Now, if you're not having anything, then for sure jump on, right? Because this will be your time to be able to celebrate you. I mean, we go through so much, and you want to be able to celebrate your successes, right? Have you ever felt like you kind of go through the day, and you do one thing really well, and then you go on to the next, and it's time to go to the next initiative, and let's get this one done, and let's get that one done, but do you ever get some time to just sit back and celebrate? Like, man, I put together that project and it worked out well. Gosh, that was really good. Congratulations, Danielle. Do you get an opportunity to do that? Well, we want to do that this week. We really want to do that this week because, again, administrative assistants, I've heard it so many times throughout my career, how it's a thankless job, right? But does it have to be? No, it doesn't have to be. And we're going to make sure that it's not, right? So again, please join us. Please join us on Tuesday from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time as we talk about taking care of you with our guest speaker, Angela Holmes, who's a wellness coach and author. And then on Wednesday, we will be celebrating Administrative Professionals Day. And this will be a 2-hour session, and it's all focused on developing you. Now, again, as I mentioned, I really want to do this in a private Zoom. However, the information that we share is not going to be private. And so in the event that we have an overwhelming, response, we can just switch it and we'll make it Facebook Live. And I'll be totally fine with that because I want to be able to share the information with as many people as we possibly can, right? So make sure you share this information with your colleagues. And, if you all get into a conference room and you want to join that way, that's totally fine too. Just make sure that you are being able to celebrate Administrative Professionals Week this week. All right. So with that being said, I want to go ahead and leave you just, with, again, the thought that you are the glue. You are the glue, and it's very important that not only are you, taking care of everyone else, and you are creating even situations like this, even when you're responsible for um, planning offsites for your executive leadership, when you're responsible for planning celebrations for staff, with a staff recognition parties, or planning celebrations for Bosses Day and things like that. You too deserve to be celebrated. You too deserve to be able to just take a moment to really look and see what it is that you do throughout the year, and to, be appreciated for the value that you bring to the organization. So, with that said, I'm going to go ahead and end, because I'm so excited about just starting off this day and this week with our Celebrating You broadcast here. And then I also want to start let you know again that we will be meeting tomorrow. So make sure you tell a friend, tell a neighbor, and join, so that you can come on from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so that we can talk about taking care of you with our guest speaker, Angela Holmes, who's a wellness coach and author. And then on Wednesday, we are going to celebrate you by talking about developing you on Administrative Professionals Day. And we will be giving out prizes. Again, Nicholas and Nikki, congratulations to you. You are the winner today. And we will be giving out prizes tomorrow as well as on Wednesday. And Wednesday, of course, they're going to be major prizes, right? Well, major in my eyes, but major prizes, because it's Administrative Professionals Week, right? And that's the actual day. All right. So thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for all of you who have joined the replay. Make sure you share this with your friends. Again, I'm Danielle Key, and I'm the CEO and founder of Cubicle Connections. I cannot wait to continue to celebrate with you this week. I cannot wait to continue to talk about Administrative Professionals Week. And we have plenty of things that are coming up as well. And I'll share that with you on Wednesday, so that you are aware and have the opportunity to participate. So have a wonderful day. It is Monday. Have a wonderful day. And if for any reason you felt like, this morning hasn't been the best, know that when you go back this afternoon, you are going to rock it. Tell yourself you're going to rock it. And just because you told yourself that, that's exactly what's going to happen. You guys have a wonderful day, and I look forward to connecting with you soon. Have a great day. And I'll talk to you guys tomorrow, 12 noon. All right. Have a good day.